Many who move to Norway quietly leave, without complaint or drama. One day their social media is full of fjords and excitement, then, silence. On the surface, life seems perfect, a job, a home, safety. But beneath it all, a subtle disconnection grows. Norway's beauty and order are real, but fulfillment can be elusive. This is the quiet disappearance, an untold story behind the dream. My goal is to share the real, unfiltered experience of living in Norway as a foreigner. Too often, the story swings between fantasy and frustration, perfect utopia, or lonely struggle. The truth is more nuanced. Life here is a mix of highs and lows. Many arrive with hope, but quietly leave, feeling confused or alone, not because of one big problem, but 1,000 small ones. This isn't about hating Norway, it's about sharing a balanced perspective, so you can decide for yourself. The first months in Norway feel like a huge victory. After all the paperwork and uncertainty, every small achievement, finding an apartment, getting your ID, starting work or studies, feels amazing. You share the clean air, stunning landscapes, and organized life with friends back home. Norway delivers on its promise of a high-quality, well-ordered society. Life feels full of promise, a true upgrade from what you left behind. Once the initial excitement of arrival settles down, the focus shifts to building a routine. This is the phase where you truly start to live in Norway, not just visit it. You figure out your daily commute, establish a work schedule, and learn the rhythm of Norwegian life. The days become structured and predictable. You wake up, go to work or university, come home, make dinner, and relax. Weekends might involve a hike in the nearby forest or a planned visit to a museum. Life becomes organized, efficient, and incredibly logical. You are not just surviving anymore, you are functioning within the system. This functionality is one of Norway's greatest strengths. Everything is designed to work smoothly, to minimize stress, and maximize personal time. The famous work-life balance is not a myth. You leave the office at a reasonable hour, and your evenings and weekends are genuinely your own. This sense of order can be incredibly reassuring, especially if you come from a more chaotic or demanding work culture. You finally have time for hobbies, for exercise, for yourself. You feel healthier, calmer, and more in control of your own life. You are living the dream that many people around the world aspire to. During these months, your interactions with Norwegians are usually positive and pleasant. Colleagues are helpful, neighbors are polite, and cashiers are efficient. You appreciate the respect for privacy and the lack of unnecessary small talk. It feels mature and straightforward. You might mistake this professional politeness for the beginnings of friendship. You assume that as time goes on, these pleasant interactions will naturally deepen into more meaningful connections. You are living a perfectly functional life, and you see no reason why a rich social life would not eventually follow. Everything appears to be on the right track. The problem is that a functional life does not automatically lead to a connected one. The very systems that make life in Norway so efficient and calm also create a certain distance. The clear separation between work and private life means that work acquaintances rarely become close friends. The respect for privacy means that neighbors might smile and nod for years without ever inviting you over. You can build an entire life here. A good job, a nice apartment, a healthy routine, without ever building a deep personal support network. In the first year, this is not an obvious problem. It is just a quiet background detail in your otherwise successful life. Norway's quietness is one of its most appealing features. The calm streets, peaceful forests, and sense of safety make you feel at ease. You can leave your belongings unattended, walk alone at night, and truly relax. Life seems idyllic, and you share this peace with friends back home. But sometimes this profound calm can slowly turn into a quiet sense of isolation. Around the 6-month mark, and certainly by the end of the first year, something begins to change. It is not a dramatic event or a sudden crisis. There is no single moment you can point to on a calendar. Instead, it is a slow, subtle shift in your internal atmosphere, as quiet and gradual as the changing of the seasons. The initial excitement of building a new life has faded, and the routines you worked so hard to establish are now second nature. The constant sense of progress and achievement that marked your first months begins to level off, replaced by a feeling of simple continuity. Life just is. This shift often begins with a change in how you perceive the very things you once loved about Norway. The peaceful silence that once felt like a calming balm for the soul, now starts to feel a little too quiet, bordering on empty. The predictable orderliness of daily life, which initially seemed so efficient and reassuring, can begin to feel constricting and monotonous. You find yourself going through the motions of your well-structured day, work, grocery store, home, repeat, with a growing sense of detachment. The vibrant colors of your new life seem to have muted slightly, fading into a more uniform shade of gray. You are not unhappy, and that is what makes this phase so confusing and difficult to articulate. If something were obviously wrong, if you hated your job or had a terrible living situation, the solution would be clear. But everything is objectively fine. You still have your good job, your nice apartment, and your safe surroundings. You have no legitimate reason to complain. When friends back home ask how things are, you say good because it is the truth, but it feels incomplete. You stop posting enthusiastically on social media because there is nothing new or exciting to report, just the quiet continuation of a stable life. This is the beginning of the silent shift. It is a deeply personal and internal experience that is almost impossible to share. How do you explain to someone that you feel a growing sense of disconnection from a life that looks perfect on paper? How do you describe a feeling that is not quite sadness or depression, but more like a slow draining of energy and engagement? You start to feel like you are watching your own life from a distance, a spectator, rather than an active participant. This quiet, creeping sense of absence is the first sign that stability alone might not be enough to sustain you. The balanced life that Norway offers is a powerful draw, but after a year, the line between a healthy routine and a monotonous rut can become dangerously thin. In the beginning, establishing a daily rhythm felt like a victory. It was proof that you were settling in, adapting, and building a sustainable life. You cherished the predictability and the time it freed up for personal pursuits. You had time to read, to exercise, to cook healthy meals. You were living the balanced ideal that so many people crave, and it felt wonderful. The structure was a scaffold upon which you were building a better, calmer version of yourself. However, as the months wear on, that same structure can start to feel less like a supportive framework and more like a cage. The days begin to blur into one another, each one a near-perfect copy of the last. The commute is the same, the tasks at work are familiar, and the evenings are reliably quiet. The weekend hike, which once felt like a grand adventure, becomes just another scheduled activity to tick off the list. The very predictability that once brought you peace now starts to generate a subtle but persistent feeling of being stuck. The life you built, once a source of pride, now feels strangely heavy and uninspired. This transition from routine to repetition is where the emotional flatness begins to set in. Without the regular injection of novelty, spontaneity, or unexpected social interaction, life can lose its texture and dynamism. You are no longer building or discovering, you are simply maintaining. This is a quiet, internal crisis that many foreigners in Norway face. You might try to fight it by planning trips or starting new hobbies, but these efforts can feel forced, like you are artificially trying to inject excitement into a life that has become fundamentally sedate. The energy required to constantly create your own stimulation can be exhausting. You find yourself less engaged, not because you are lazy or unmotivated, but because the environment itself offers little in the way of external sparks. The routines feel heavier because they are no longer leading toward a tangible goal. They have become the goal itself. You are not building toward anything new, you are just living out the pattern you have already created. This is when the quiet question starts to whisper in the back of your mind. Is this it? Is this calm, predictable, and repetitive existence what I want for the rest of my life? For many, the answer begins to lean toward no. The hardest part of this silent shift is the sense that something is missing, even if you can't name it. You're not lonely or bored, life is full, but a quiet absence lingers. It's the missing casual chat or spontaneous connection that glues daily life together elsewhere. In Norway, where privacy is valued, these moments are rare, and over time, you just feel invisible. You exist in a beautiful place, but without those small connections, it never quite feels like home. In Norway, politeness and personal space are everywhere. People stand apart, speak softly, and rarely intrude. This creates a calm, orderly public life, but also keeps interactions at a surface level. For newcomers, it can feel lonely, surrounded by kindness, yet distant. Over time, you realize this polite distance isn't a phase. It's the norm here. In many countries, the workplace is a social hub, but in Norway, work and private life are kept strictly separate. When the clock strikes 4, colleagues pack up and head home. No lingering, no spontaneous drinks. Friendships are formed outside the office, leaving many newcomers surprised and sometimes isolated. Building a social life here takes real effort, and for many, that's a tough adjustment. In Norway, friendships are formed early, childhood, school, even military service, and these circles are tight, lasting decades. As a foreigner, breaking in is nearly impossible. You're often left on the outside, orbiting groups but never truly part of them. Many turn to other foreigners for connection, but it can feel like a consolation prize, not the integration they hoped for. In Norway, the high cost of living makes spontaneous socializing tough. Even a simple coffee or beer can be expensive, turning casual meetups into rare, planned events. Most gatherings happen at home and are scheduled far in advance, making it hard for newcomers to build friendships. The result? Social life often feels out of reach, quietly stifled by cost and culture. The Norwegian work-life balance is legendary, and for good reason. It's one of the most powerful magnets that pulls skilled professionals from all over the world to this country. The promise is simple but profound. You will work hard and efficiently during your designated hours, and then you will go home. Your evenings, weekends, and generous holidays are yours to keep, free from the intrusion of work emails or late-night calls from your boss. For anyone who has ever been trapped in a culture of overwork, this promise feels like a dream come true. It represents a more humane, sustainable way of living. During the first year, this balance feels incredibly liberating. You leave the office at 4 in the afternoon, and the sun is often still high in the sky. You have a whole second part of your day to enjoy. You can go for a run, cook a nice meal, read a book, or work on a personal project. The stress that used to linger long after you left the office simply dissolves. You feel healthier, more rested, and more in control of your own life. This aspect of the Norwegian dream is completely real. The country's labor laws and cultural norms protect an employee's private time with a fierceness that is rare elsewhere. This newfound freedom initially feels like the ultimate prize. You have achieved what so many people back home are still struggling for. You have a good job in a stable country, and you also have a life outside of it. The system works exactly as advertised. Work is a part of your life, not the entirety of it. This clear separation is seen as a sign of a healthy and mature society that values the well-being of its citizens above corporate profit. You feel proud to be a part of such a system, and you can't imagine ever wanting to go back to a more demanding work culture. However, this perfect balance has a hidden side effect that most people do not anticipate. The same boundaries that protect your private time also limit the potential for work to be a source of social connection or deep personal fulfillment. The balance is achieved through a clear and rigid separation. Work is for professional tasks, and your personal life is for everything else. While this is healthy in theory, it creates a vacuum that many foreigners find difficult to fill. The early departure from work is wonderful, but it leads to a very quiet and often solitary evening if you have no other plans. In Norway, the boundary between work and personal life is strong, protective at first, but over time it can feel like a wall. Human connection is often built in unstructured moments, but here, those are rare. Colleagues remain just that, pleasant but distant on the other side of a professional wall. You go home early but to an empty apartment. The balance is real, but connection is not guaranteed. In Norway, work is important, but it's not the center of life. Ambitious newcomers often expect fulfillment from their careers, only to find the culture values balance over ambition. You do your job well, then you go home. There's little drama or rapid advancement, just stability and comfort. For some, this is a relief. For others, it feels empty, safe, but lacking passion and purpose. Norway's high salaries are a huge draw for foreigners, promising financial security that feels like a win at first. That first paycheck is thrilling. You can afford a nice apartment, good food, and a stable life. But soon, the reality of Norway's high cost of living sets in. Everything is expensive, and your impressive income doesn't stretch as far as you hoped. The freedom you imagined is limited. You're comfortable, but not free to be spontaneous. Dining out, traveling, or social activities become calculated decisions, not casual pleasures. You might skip social events or trips because they feel like splurges. The money keeps you secure, but it doesn't buy happiness or fill the social void. What once felt like a prize starts to feel like a gilded cage, safe, but routine, and a bit stifling. Comfort becomes a trade-off for excitement, and for many, that trade-off starts to feel like a real loss. The realization dawns: money here is for maintenance, not liberation. After a year in this comfort cage, many start to question if financial security is enough. You have stability, a good salary, and a safe life. Everything you thought you wanted, but money can't buy close friendships, laughter, or a sense of belonging. A beautiful apartment feels empty if you're always alone. Some realize they've been chasing the wrong metric of success, mistaking economic stability for happiness. True fulfillment comes from social richness and emotional vibrancy, not just a healthy bank account. This realization is unsettling, forcing a re-evaluation of priorities. The decision to leave isn't dramatic. It's a quiet conclusion that financial security alone isn't enough. Many choose less money in exchange for more connection and energy elsewhere. They learn that real wealth is found in community and shared experiences. Norway is famously drama-free. Life is calm, systems work, and people avoid confrontation. At first, this is a relief, but over time, the emotional flatness can feel numbing. The absence of lows also means an absence of highs. Life becomes a steady, predictable line. Social interactions are polite, but rarely passionate or deeply engaging. Many don't leave because they're unhappy. They leave because they feel emotionally numb. The safety and stability that once felt appealing can start to feel like a straitjacket. It's hard to explain leaving a perfect country because it's too stable, so most people keep it to themselves. The emotional climate, not the weather, is what quietly wears them down. Some thrive in Norway's calm and structure. It's a paradise for those who love routine and independence, but others crave stimulation, novelty, and social energy. For them, Norway's predictability slowly drains their emotional battery. Each quiet evening, each distant interaction, adds to a subtle sense of depletion. After a year, they feel inexplicably tired and uninspired, despite having a good life. The misalignment between personal needs and the environment is the real issue. Norway offers stability, not stimulation, peace, not passion. Quiet departures aren't rejections, they're acts of self-preservation. To feel alive again, some need to return to a more chaotic, but emotionally energizing environment. Most people leave Norway quietly. No drama, no blame, no public complaints. The country didn't fail them, it just wasn't the right fit. Friends and colleagues are often surprised, unable to understand why someone would leave such a perfect place. Explaining the absence of connection or excitement feels intangible, so most just say it was time for a change. The process is methodical and calm, mirroring their arrival. Goodbyes are polite, not deeply emotional. They leave with gratitude for the safety and peace, but relief at regaining a sense of freedom. The real lesson: a good life is personal, and vibrant human connection is essential for some. The story of leaving Norway isn't about the country's flaws, it's about personal alignment. Norway is objectively exceptional, but the real question is whether it matches your emotional needs. If you thrive on calm and independence, Norway is a sanctuary. If you need social warmth and spontaneous connection, it can feel isolating. There's no right or wrong, just a question of fit. Quiet departures are stories of self-discovery, not failure. The key is understanding yourself and finding the place where you truly feel alive.